I just want to echo what these guys said. I haven't come here a lot recently. I used to years before when my friends kind of, Jason Van Orton, anybody's been here long enough, remember Jason Van Orton? That's been a long time. I really like what Matt said about the continuous learning thing. He says, he's always asking the question, anybody learn anything? He's always giving me a hard time because if I don't come out to his stuff to learn stuff from him. But I love that he's asking people what they've learned from these experiences. This Pete Fortunato thing, I really wanted to go to that. I really did. My brother's coming home from Afghanistan, being here for a short window, so I wanted to be there for that. I almost went. I got the email and I almost went to that. I love that he's pointing out any little bit you can get from somebody today. A lot of the stuff I'm going to tell you, some of you guys may have heard this before, but any little bit that you can get from this, I am like an information guy like that. I'm always reading stuff. I'm always talking to people. Somebody gives you some information here. I guarantee you some of it you'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. Some of you might be like, yeah, I've heard that before, but some of them will be good stuff, I guarantee you. I'm Andy McFarland. Anybody here last time I spoke? Okay, a lot of new people. So I'm going to talk today on 5 tips on marketing to private sellers, and 5 tips on negotiating with private sellers. So I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I am not a real estate agent. I do a lot of wholesale stuff. Who here wants to talk to private sellers and negotiate with private sellers? A lot of people. You know, a lot of times in the real estate game, it's listed stuff. There's that, real estate agents kind of keep that distance so you don't have that personal relationship. I love it. In fact, I was just, at 4:30 today, I was with a buddy. We were at the seller's house, talking, negotiating. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. For me, my highest and best, my favorite thing, if I was a multi-millionaire, what would you do? I would go talk to sellers because I love them. I would talk to them. I love to hear their stories. I love to get to know them. And I love to negotiate with them. So I'm going to talk about these 2 things. First, 5 tips on marketing to private sellers. So Matt stole my thunder. There's some consistency, right? I'm going to plug my nose. What's that? Yeah. I did? Yeah. My brother did. Thank you, Jason. Round of applause. So the consistency, it really is the key to that. Like he was saying, create a schedule. Even if it's a forcing mechanism for yourself, even if you're not going to do mail outs or signs or whatever you're going to do, just create a schedule. Say, this Friday I'm going to go do something. I'm going to put up signs here. I'm going to send out a mailer there. Do something and do something consistently. I see a lot of investors that'll do something once. They'll put an ad in the paper for a month. They'll put up signs once. They'll send out mailers once. And then they're like, oh, that didn't work. It works. I promise you guys, it works. You just got to do stuff consistently. I'm going to intersperse these in between my points. Because I think everybody likes to see real life houses that people have done. So all these houses are the ones that I've done this year. So this was a house, to prove the point of consistency. I talked to this lady. After I get there and talk to her and negotiate everything, I like to just find out, hey, how did you find my number? How did you get me? Then she pulled out of her purse, she pulled out 5 mailers that I'd sent her. 5 of them. How's that for consistency? Over a year, she'd been collecting my stuff, right? And I said, oh, finally she called one because she was ready. But this was a house I bought up in Ogden. I actually wholesaled it to a guy. I did it in my Roth IRA, so these things they talk about with that, absolutely true. American Pension Services, they hold my Roth IRA. I flipped that for $7,000 in my Roth IRA, and I will never pay taxes on that, right? Hopefully not, unless they make some major changes. I sold it to my buyer. He actually sold it. It's done in the bank. He made $13,000 profit. He sold it for cash. He could have made more money, but he decided to take the quick money. He was asking about $13,000 more than that, but he said, I'll give you money to get out of here. I sell to him a lot. The second one is use multiple methods. So I want to tell you guys, and I spoke more about this last time, multiple lines in the water. You ever talk about all these deals, all these real estate, all these methods that people do to get stuff, the signs, the mailers, the ads in the paper, the knocking on doors. You guys ever wonder if that works? I'm here to tell you if all of it works. The question is, do you work? Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to put up the signs? Are you willing to consistently pay for marketing? Are you willing to get out there? Because it absolutely works. And find something that works for you, keep it, and keep doing that, and then add something else. But don't drop doing the one that worked for you. So get a specific, just do something. It absolutely works. You guys ever heard the saying, I can't tell you one way to find 100 deals? Well, I can tell you 100 ways to find one deal. That's what it is. All these things work. Do it consistently, and you will find deals. I've got a story with this one too. We'll see. Actually, I do have a story with that. So one of the methods, Matt's really big on this, and it's huge. Who here has found a property from like networking? From somebody they know? Big, right? This one I found earlier this year, there's a lady, she's not super experienced in doing flips, but she thought she wanted to do one, happened to be talking to her one day. So yeah, I got this property, it's a short sale, I'm gonna buy it. I said, well, what are you gonna do with it? You know, just talking her through it. She said, well, I think I'm gonna flip it. And it needed some extensive work, and I kind of talked to her and I said, well, would you rather flip it, or would you rather I paid you $10,000 and you don't have to do anything? She took the $10,000 and didn't have to do anything, and I flipped the property, right? I made money on that. That's one of those things, networking, just being consistent and using those type of methods, you can find a house. I'll buy from wholesalers too. Number 3, change your message. Some people, I mean, I've seen it before where somebody will take a mailer that works, you know, or they think works, and they'll just keep mailing it. They'll just keep mailing it. The same mailer, the same mailer. Change your message up. If you're going to use direct mail, which can be a good way to go, try a professional letter. Maybe try a handwritten letter. Maybe try a postcard. All those different methods. One person might like the professional letter, and I think, oh, I want to work with this guy that's got this reputable company, he's got a nice logo, he's got a website. Somebody else might be like, you know, I want to work with that guy. I want to work with the guy that wrote me a letter. Hey, Matt, sell me your house. You know, different strokes for different folks. Some people just want to call the guy that looks unprofessional. Some people want to open the letter. Some people want the postcard. You know, there's no barrier to entry. They can just read it. So change your message. McDonald's changes their message all the time, right? So you should change it. But just keep doing stuff. Big one here, working with private sellers. Answer your phone. I spend a lot of money on marketing. I spend a lot of time going out and doing that. It's wasted if you don't answer your phone. Who here has tried to call T-Mobile to get customer service? Is it not a race to find whatever button you can press to get to somebody quickly? You're just they're saying, wow, tell us how you can, you know, answer the concerns. And you're like, you know, personal representative. And they're like, well, it sounds like you have a problem with your bill. You're like, personal representative. Right? Who else knows this? You call Questar, and I'm like, 0, 3, 1, 3. I'm like, just give me somebody I can talk to, right? So when they call, a lot of people have this method of saying, well, I'm going to have a voicemail that says, you know, if you're interested in selling your house, leave your name and number, things like that. I want that to be the fallback. If you can't answer the phone, they're going to get that. I want to talk to this person when they call me, because they might not call back. I don't know who's been in this business for pre-07. Anybody been here pre-07? One of the things people used to do, have an ad in the newspaper. You've heard of that before? There used to be 10 investor ads in the newspaper. And I know because I was 2 of them. My partner and I both had one. Change your method. We had one that was looking for foreclosures and one with cash buyer ads. But we were both in line in there. So we'd be sitting around talking, doing whatever, like having our meeting. We'd get a random phone number that called, and I might deny that phone number. And then we'd keep talking, and then his phone would ring. I said, what number is that? He'd tell me, I'm like, answer it. Why? It was the same person because they were calling it an ad in the paper. They didn't care. They're calling, not leaving a message, going to the next guy. You don't answer your phone, you're not getting that deal. A lot of times we play that to our advantage too, because I would call them back and my partner would talk to him and they'd say something. I'd call them, oh, I'd never do that. You know, you would go with that guy, he's crazy. Right? But seriously though, when it was that fierce competition, answer your phone, because you're going to get the deal over somebody else. Sorry for this, it's not showing up very well. Follow up. So anybody heard me last time? I'm big on follow-up. Again, it took you so long to get that person in your pipeline. Follow up with them, for heaven's sakes. Time and circumstances changes things, everything for sellers. That's all it is, time and circumstance. I want to be the one calling them back. There's a seller I spoke to 2 days ago. I mailed him something, I think, or he called me from something over a year ago. I call him all the time. I probably talked to him 4 times in the last year on this house that he's got. I'm just, hey, how's it going? We're like buddies now. In fact, the last time I called him, he said, you know what, that house is still not ready. We still got a renter there. We're still doing good. It's a trash house, so I'm going to get it eventually, right? But he said, you know what, though? I lost your number. I'm glad you called because there's a lady that's in my church that she needs to sell her house. Great. I'm meeting with her next week, right? Just from following up with her. Following up with him. Oh, and there's another guy. Here's another one. You guys might think I'm crazy for this. I had a seller. We went into a kind of a verbal contract, which I know you don't do in real estate. We agreed on a price, and I sent him the contract. He changed his mind. He sent me back the contract, right? So I'm never going to do that. Finally got a hold of him again on the phone, talked him through. He had some misunderstanding. His cousin might move in or whatever. It's not going to happen. But he, I'm still building rapport. I'm still buddies with him. He's from Montana. I Googled his town in Montana, Googled restaurants. I found what I thought would be the nicest steakhouse in that town. I got a gift certificate, $80. This is an older guy too, that's going to be awesome. I got an $80 gift certificate from this town in Montana, this nice steakhouse. I called him, they shipped it to me. I'm going to write him a handwritten Christmas note and say, hey, just thinking of you, just hope you and your wife have a Merry Christmas and, just thinking about you, Andy. Well, guess what? When he goes to sell that thing in the spring, is he going to call anybody else? Yeah. Who's going to have the upper hand in that negotiation too? I'm buddies with him now. He likes me. I did him a favor, right? And I might not ever get that house, but it's worth $80 for me to send that to him. That $80 is going to turn into a lot more. So, tips on marketing private sellers. I know I just touched on these. Be consistent. Use multiple methods. Do one consistently, then add another one. Then add another one. Don't do one and stop. Do one and keep going on it. Change your message up. Don't make it stale. Answer your phone when these people are calling you. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. So this is, I want to give like a break between kind of two different messages. Questions on this part of the presentation? Right.
Is it possible to, if you can't answer your phone, can you hire somebody to answer your phone for you and then just pass along? Because I thought you said something like that last time you gave your presentation.
Yes, it is possible.
So where do you find these people? India.
Yeah, so surely the person that's going to answer the phone, they need to be more skilled than just, hi, how are you? I don't want to annoy my people. They need to be somebody that's got like a brain that can work with people. That does take skill. Luke, raise your hand. Do you answer any phones?
All your phone calls.
Luke answers all my phone calls. You guys met Luke before? Luke's good. He knows what he's doing. So he's working. He answers all my phone calls. We have multiple lines that all ring to him. It's done through an online thing, so we can track all of our marketing and things like that. He answers all the phone calls, and he's awesome at it. He asks all the right questions, and he gets the people down. He's great now. I mean, he filters for equity and motivation. When I get on the phone with the people, it's generally because it's people that I want to talk to. So Luke does that. Because a lot of times you won't answer your phone, you won't answer your phone, and I don't either. So I didn't like having to do that at all hours and stuff. But I didn't want to spend money on marketing and be losing those. So yeah, good question. No. What's that? This year or last year? Or, I have my favorite way. Actually, I find a lot through my own efforts. But truly, I've got a lot of investors or a lot of friends that you'll see in this next section. I'm talking about negotiating. They'll actually have me go talk to the sellers for them. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I love talking to people and learning their situation and negotiating with them. And I think I'm kind of good at it. So they'll have me, they'll get a lead, they'll like, hey, will you come with me? Or, hey, will you just go do it? Because they know I'll work it with them, and it's their deal. I'll work it like as if it's me, and I'll go to them and say, Matt, what are we doing on this? How much you pay me? If it's my deal, I'm wholesale about maximizing it. But if it's something that lead they brought me or they came with me, it's their deal. I just go to kind of negotiate it and work it out. I find them a lot of different ways. I spend a lot of money on marketing. So I'll send out mail, I have ads in the paper, I have some signs that go out sometimes. You've seen some of mine. And I've also got a few friends that do this as well that, they don't come to these meetings, but I actually go for them too. So if you call those signs, one just did a billboard. If you call them, it'll go to his call screener and it'll go to me. I'll be the one that'll go out there and give them the call. In fact, if you look at his website, you'll see my testimonials on his website, so it's ultimately me. So, in fact, one of my examples I've got in the first section is a house I negotiated for him. So, that kind of answers your question?
You said 3. Mailers, right?
Mailers, signs. Own efforts. That's a big one. Networking with people, just knowing people, real estate agents, like that lady that had a short sale. I offered her $10,000 and she took it, so I found on that way. And I know a lot of people in the industry. I've bought wholesale from some people. I don't do that a lot because I do find my own stuff. Just a lot of different methods. Networking is a big one. It really is. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, networking is a big one. And also, I don't do a lot of driving for dollars, and I didn't mention it. You guys ever heard of driving for dollars? When you're out there, if you're going to go look at a house, this is a good tip. There's a good takeaway. Just go 30 minutes early to the area. I like to drive around the neighborhood anyway to kind of see what the houses are like. Drive around and just see if there's something, a house that might be vacant or something that you might be able to look up. And if you see people like doing a yard sale, or if you see somebody out there just, raking leaves, go talk to them. Hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm buying a house on the street. What do you think of the neighborhood? Geez, I don't know. Play that guy. And Do you know anybody's looking to sell a house? Oh, well, old lady Johnson just moved into a restaurant. Oh, really? You have her number? Is she in your church? Oh, can you get that for me? That'd be great, you know? Really, you catch a lot of bees that way, just give them money, right? But that's a good one, that's a great one. It doesn't cost you any money. It's just your
One of the
time.
reasons most people call you to sell their houses instead of just listing the house.
What are the reasons people call me instead of just listing
Well,
their
yeah,
house?
what do they tell you? Instead of just listing the house, what do they call wholesaler? Excuse me.
And I don't put myself as a wholesaler, but I'm just an investor.
Well, call, yeah.
Whenever they call me, most people are skeptical. And what is this? Is this a scam? Every reason is different. Part of the reason I like meeting with sellers is everyone is different. Did you ever come in?
A lot of times they don't want to go to realtors.
A lot of times they don't. In fact, my method, and some people, Luke's seen me do it, and other people, when I go there to talk to sellers, I'm 100% open and transparent with them. I'll ask them. I'll straight up ask them, why don't you just list it with an agent? It sounds like you're looking for a retail price. Why don't you just list it with an agent? Well, you know, I don't want to pay 6%. I don't want to sit on the market. Oh, okay. Well, if you don't want to do that, then I might be your guy. I'll come meet with you. And a lot of that too, a lot of these things aren't necessarily deals until I get in there and make them a deal. You know, you kind of help them feel the pain a little bit. You make friends with them. You find out what they're trying to do. And you give them what they want, then give what you want. I mentioned this last time. Price is not always the issue. It's a part of it, but it's not always 100% the issue. So, did that answer it?
Yeah.
I'm not skirting questions here. Matt, tell me if I'm.
Keep going.
Okay. Keep going with it. Next section. Okay. Negotiating with private sellers. All right, this is the part that I really like in the presentation. I love negotiating is fun, right? And I was trying to remember how much it cost me to get in front of these people, so I treated them accordingly. But negotiating really is a fun game. So I had a question for you to ask you guys. What's the highest paid activity you will participate in? Good question. Negotiating. I used to think it was sales. Like, what's the highest paid industry? It's sales. I kind of believe now it's negotiating. You'll make more money per hour negotiating than I think you will with anything else. Okay, number one with negotiating. They need to like you. People need to like you. People do business with people that they like. Have you ever had somebody that wouldn't sell somebody something out of spite? You know, the guy wants to buy his car, but he's like, I hate that guy. I'm not gonna sell it to him. If you want it for $1,000 less, I'll sell it to you. I hate that guy. You know. When I go to see sellers' houses, I was gonna make Luke stand up and actually give the first hand of what he sees when I go there. Well, I go there to the house because I'm there to see the house, right? Not really. I don't care about the house. They're all the same to me. I can walk through there and be like, yeah, this is going to cost me 30 grand. I go there to talk to them. I'm walking through the house with them, just to have time with them. You know, oh, they're showing me the cabinets. I'm like, okay, great. And all the while, I'm just talking to them. So what are you doing here? Whose house is this? Oh, that's your mom's house. Okay, cool. Why'd she move? This is a beautiful house. All those things, they're talking to me. By the time I've left, and generally I try to spend an hour, hour and a half with them. They like me because I let them talk about themselves. And I'm truly interested in the people. I'm not being fake with them. You can't be fake with the people. But they've told me all this information, so I'm not just a guy saying, well, I've seen the house, it's that, I'll offer you this. No, I structure my offers around what they need. So it's not always a dollar figure. But sometimes it is. So my question will be walking around, oh, that's a nice house. Yep. Is it hard to make the monthly payment on that? What do you mean monthly payment? Oh, you don't have a mortgage? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, some people do. You're lucky you don't. You know. No, what do houses go for in this neighborhood? What do they go for here? What do you think? A house like this. I mean, no, if it was fixed up, what does it go for? Well, you know, it might go for 220. Oh, yeah. And I don't care if they're right or wrong. I just want to know what they think. It doesn't matter what I think. How does what they think? And I get all of that by talking to them. And my second point, well, I think I might have a...
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you remember everything that they say? Or that you don't care particularly what they say?
No, sorry. I'm not trying to give you the impression that I don't care what they say. I absolutely care what they say. In fact,
No, like particulars.
Do you take notes? I mean, that would be weird. Like, how do you remember what they say?
I really feel like I asked my wife, and she's not here tonight, but I love talking to people, and I love hearing their situations. Not just in real estate, but that's what I do like for a living. But I love hearing their stuff, and I truly want to know what's going on. So I'll remember it because I care. You know, when somebody asks you, tell your name, and you forget it 2 seconds later, they didn't care. I care, and they tell me this stuff. I'll remember them, and I care. But it's very important.
So to that point, there's a way to present those
up?
tables, right?
What's that?
To say no, so it's not an awkward situation?
Yeah, you could. Oh, you know what? True. I do see a lot of sellers, and I try to see them every day. That's what I like to do. But after I leave, I'll put a note in my phone, and I'll write all the things down, and I will brain dump everything. Like this was important, and that was important. They want to see the finished product. This was their dad's home. Here's what they think it's worth. Here's the repairs they think it takes. So I don't care what the real numbers are. I want to know what they think. They think it's going to take 50, and I know it's 40. We'll use 50. They think it's going to sell for 220. I know it's going to sell for 240. We're going to use 220. Okay? I'll educate them if I have to, but I'll do that mind dump. I'll throw it all down on my calendar. So when I follow up with them, I push it in my Google Calendar. That's kind of how I keep my stuff with their phone number and everything too. You push it to the next date. And that's also my follow up. Serves my follow up. So I click to follow up with somebody. It's already in there. It's got their address. It's got Matt 801 this. So I can just click it. It's got I met with this date. And every time I follow up with them, type it. November 14th. I called Matt. He said, well, we're still waiting on this and that. Great. Well, let me call you. Good chance. And I push it forward a week. So that's kind of my tickler file too. Just the way I do it. Any questions with that? I've got another real life example here. So this is a house I purchased from somebody in South Ogden. It was actually listed, but the agent couldn't. Anyway, it was listed, but kind of not really. And she let me work with the sellers because they were kind of unrealistic. So I started talking to them, same thing like I did with a normal one. And I found out all the stuff that was important to them, they had it listed for $92,000. I bought it for $52,000. Because I found out what was really important to them, and you can't sell it for the listing. You're this big, it's just an overpriced house. But I found that out. So I actually offered it to a friend, and he couldn't do it at the time he had other projects. So I actually did it myself. So I got the wholesale and the retail basically. I flipped this myself. But I was going to flip it for 10 grand. We had agreed upon, but I ended up just flipping it. But that's all because they liked me. We had a relationship before. The agent was I knew her from kind of the investing side, and she hadn't done many listings, and she was just like, I don't know what to do with these sellers. I said, well, do you mind if I talk to them? She said, no, I don't care. And I don't know if that's against protocol for agents. I don't know anything. But I just talked to them, and I spent a couple hours on the phone with them. And truly, I care about these people, and I'll treat them. I'll say, if I were your son, here's what I would recommend that you do. Here's what you do. And I treat them that way, and I gave them their recommendation, and they called me back and said, okay, we'll do this. I told them, I said, I'm only going to pay you. I'll pay you 50 for it. And they came back and said, God, we want 70. I said, well, 50. They came back, and all right, 52. And that was it. I was done. It's hard because there's so much stuff that's listed like that, but I would. I mean, if an agent called me and said they've got specific circumstances, there's a specific motivation behind there, I love to talk to people. I don't really like working. I'll work through the agents and give them a commission. I don't mind the commission, but I like talking to people directly so I can structure an offer that works for them. And see if it works, because if I asked that question he asked earlier, why don't you list it with an agent, or why don't you just sell it with your agent? Well, okay, if that's the best thing for him, I said, look, it sounds like you need retail. Why don't you just look with your agent? That's good. You can wait 4 months, they'll fall out of contract, and you'll end up doing the repairs anyway, and you sell it for less, and you'll end up net mess, but that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Now, I lead them down the road, kind of like Matt was saying, but surely, I give them, I'll get on early, I give them the easy button. I said, look, if you can sell to me, we'll get this done on Friday, or you can wait, you'll get more money. You definitely get more money. I didn't let them know that.
So what do they really need?
What these guys need?
Yeah.
Well, they moved into a rest home. She didn't have any money. She needed to maintain that stuff. So it was her daughter that called me and said, we just need to be done with this before winter time. We don't want to pay all this money. I said, well, here's what I can pay this for it, but that's it. And it needed repairs. I said, and I was honest with them, it needs repairs. You can go in there and spend $10,000 and do just what I'm going to do. Well, there's multiple brothers and sisters. Nobody wants to come up with the money, and we want it faster. I'm like, okay, well, I can help you with that. Here's what I'll do it for you. They came back and did it. So you never know what people are going to do. Any other questions with that? I have a question slide at the end. So the first one, how do you make people like you? The biggest thing is listen to them. You guys ever had a conversation with somebody that you can talk to somebody for an hour and just let them talk? I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking here, but if you let somebody talk to you for an hour and you hear a lot of them, most people won't ask you a question back. You can say, hey, what do you do? And then when they say what they do, say, oh, really? So you work on a loading dock? And then just ask a follow-up question. What do you guys load on? Is that hard work? If you ask those follow-up questions, they'll think you're really interested, and I am really interested. And then they'll be like, okay. I like this guy. He likes me. They'll end the conversation after an hour. If they walked away from me, Matt would go to him and say, hey, who was that guy you're talking to? I don't know. He's a really nice guy. They could know nothing about me. They don't even know my name. Yeah, he's a nice guy because I listen to him. And generally, I'll ask people other questions. So that's the best way to get people to like you in a negotiation. Listen to them. Also, you're building your case of what you need to give them. So here's a story with that. The guy that called me, and he called 3 or 4 other people on this holiday coming up. So I showed up there, and before we got the phone call, and I knew that time was his issue. He was flying in from out of town. Beforehand, we're building this case, right? Before I even meet him. He's flying in from out of town. He's handling stuff for his dad. He's not making any money on this. He's a busy guy. He makes pretty good money, and he's not going to get a dime from this thing. But he's going to sell this thing. I'm flying into town. I'm going to sell it on Monday, is what he says, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm pulling a title. I had a title prepared, right? So when I show up on Monday, I think I showed up, might have been last or second to last. And I listened to the guy for 30 minutes to an hour, finding out everything that he needs. And that's what he needed. He wanted to, hey, I'm out of here. Now, I'm not getting any money out of this. I mean, he got $500 over his owed. When I found that, I said, okay, so if I can get you $500 over his owed, then I can close this thing today. Like, we'll go to lunch and then we'll close. He was like, seriously? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that, right? So I went and closed with him. And then he called as a courtesy one of those other investors that showed up that wasn't illustrating this point, or wasn't listening to him, obviously. Called him up afterwards and say, hey, I just want to let you know that, I sold the property to another investor. The other investor told him, well, call me back when that falls through. The guy still wasn't listening. It wasn't under contract. It was sold. It was done. This house, by the way, I wholesold this to a buddy of mine. Raise your hand. Mike, the tub doctor. Do you guys know the tub doctor?
Where's Mike?
This is the tub doctor. Any of you guys that need like refinishing bathtub or shower surrounds or like just countertops, he's the best. You can see his remodeled kitchen right there. He makes them look really good. He does a lot of his flips. He'll do it for other people too. Call him. Tub doctor is amazing. Tub doctor is awesome. Can I collect people here like that?
He's good.
Yeah, Mike's good, right? I hand out your cards later, man. This one. So this stuff is fun. Negotiating tactics, right? You guys will all get something from this. One thing, right? I like to read a lot. I read a book recently. And I'll give you the name of the book. It's in one of my slides. You guys should all go read this book. Okay? A lot of people know this. Never be the first to say a price, right? So when you're working with a private seller, or anybody, it's not just real estate, it's anything. Negotiating a price on anything. Never be the first one to say a price. So Matt, what are you asking for your house?
What would you offer on my house?
God, I don't know. I mean, you know the house better than me. What are you guys kind of looking for? You have a price range in mind?
I'd like to know what you can offer.
Okay, so you're just looking for an offer. I have to go do my research, but you guys are okay. Keep walking around the house. You really don't know what you're looking for, huh? You guys are trying to sell something. If you look for a sign in the yard, just put at KSL.
We're trying to sell it for as much as possible.
As much as possible. Okay, well, in a perfect world, if you were going to sell it, how much do you think you want?
Okay, 180. 180.
Okay, so why do you think 180?
Because that's what our neighbor said across the street.
Okay, do they have a similar home or?
Yeah, they're in my ward. He's my neighbor.
Tell me more about that. What is with Denver?
Yeah, we can't afford it anymore.
So 180. Okay, well, that's good. Let me give you guys a story then. He told me a number, and you'll get that a lot, right? Notice how I just deflect it and ask it back to him. Don't give him a number. If they really, really, really press you for a number, shoot down a low dollar strike. I go $180,000 off that. I don't know. I'll give you, if you want off 50 grand, just a joke number, right? And then they'll be like, oh, come on, it's worth at least 180. Oh, okay. Don't give him a real number. And here's why. I'm going to give you guys a real life story. Ready for this? My old partner and I, we showed up to this house. We got there before the sellers got there. She has this house, and before she got there, we were driving around the neighborhood, and we're walking around the house, and I asked my buddy, because we like to do this, we walk around and think, sight unseen, before you've seen the inside of the house. I said, how much would you pay for this house? We played the little game, right? He said, 115, and I'm like, I was 110. Before we'd even seen the house. Then we walked to the house, did the whole rigmarole, and we played this game, it comes to the negotiation. Okay, hey, so what are you asking for the house? What do you think she said? 150. She said 90. And I was like, I had to bite I was just like, walking away. My buddy's got a better face than I did. He was just like, okay, so 90. Okay, well, we'll see if we can get the next point. Never give a quick yes. So in that situation, I'm thinking 115 doing backflips at 90. She says 90, and I'm like, okay, I got some paperwork in my car, let's do it. What is she thinking right there? Holy crap, holy crap. It's a disservice to them. And I know this sounds like, oh, you crooked investor, you're trying to get it. It's a disservice to them to take that offer. Because they're going to feel awful about that. They're like, God, I could have got more. And you're like, gosh, 90 seriously for this? It needs a lot of work. That foundation, God, it needs work. Really? I was thinking more like 75 or whatever it is. Fight them. Make them fight. Set the hook a little bit. Because they'll feel better about it. You'll get a better deal too. But we ended up agreeing at like 80. And then the attorney said, or I got to go look at my attorney, like, oh crap, deal's dead. So the attorney goes, looks and says, oh, we ought to get an appraisal or something. So I gave her an appraisal, right? Just like handpicked, I think it was Joe. I think he did a desk appraisal or something for us. And it came back like, I'm like, just the lowest you could, just. So he found like, it was like 120. So when she comes back, I said, how much did it come in at? She said, God, it was like 120. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? 120? She's like, I know, I don't think he took into account this now. Did he go in? I don't think he took this into account. I'm like, oh, so what are you thinking? Do you think we could do like 95? And I was like, yeah, I guess. He's your attorney. Bought the house. That was a good one. Williams Avenue, Salt Lake City was, never give a quick yes, it's a disservice. Okay, this is a story. This is one. My buddy sent me in to negotiate. Remember I said earlier, he sent me in. So I'll get deals like that too. My friends have sent me in to negotiate for him. He got this call from somewhere. I don't know where he got it from. He wanted me to go negotiate. So I go there. It's in Ogden. Walking through the house. Trash. There's tenants there. Whatever. The sellers are there. It's an older gentleman and his daughter. They're both a little bit older. And walking through the house, same thing. Go out on the front porch. And I'm not going to give him a number, but my guy that gave me the lead, he said, man, I'd love to get this thing for 30 grand. I was thinking, 30 grand? Are you kidding me? Even in Ogden, I was like, oh, it's a cheap house, you know? You know, Sean knows, he buys lots of houses in Ogden. I get 30, okay, I got to get under 30, right? So go there, out in front of the house, it's been trashed, the tenant's there. So I'm out in front with the guy, I'm sitting there with his daughter. I'm like, okay, so what do you think of this house worth? We went back and forth, going after the meeting. Didn't give it to me right off. He said, the house has got to be worth 30 grand, doesn't it? And I was like, oh, so you think it's worth 30 grand, huh? I just kind of replied to him that way. Right when I said that, I'm looking over his shoulder and his daughter's shoulder, out towards the street. I see SWAT team fast walking up to the house. This house. They surrounded this house. This is a picture I took when I was walking away in my car and snapped it up. They said 30 grand. SWAT team came, they came to me and said, is this guy inside the house? And there were 3 guys in the house and one looked like it. I said, yep. I'm like, okay guys, I'll call you later. You can't see very well, but that's SWAT entering the house, right? So what was I thinking when I got to my car? It's not 30 grand. It's not 30 grand. I called him the next day. I knew I wanted to land around 20. My buddy, I mean, this is his deal. I'm still going to have to cut him a big piece of it. So she called me up and said, oh, what do you think? I said, oh, your dad's a very, I'm like, man, that thing is trash, right? Yeah. I could do 15. I can't start 20. I could do 15. I'm almost embarrassed by that. I'm like, biting my tongue into the bone. I'm like, listen. She's like, oh, my dad's some crazy to sell it for less than 22. Really? Gosh. All right, well, can we do 19? You know, I'm like, come on. Work with me here. She's like, 20 grand. I'll do 20 grand. I'm like, okay, God, twist my arm. Let her feel like she won, right? She was fighting me on this thing. Of course I would take it for 28. I let her feel like she won on that one, right? I made a $2,000 profit. I would have made 10 if I was a wholesale. It was his lead, he gave to me, I negotiated for him. I said, what do you mean? He's like, dude, you did a good job, 2 grand. Whatever. He does a lot of favors to me, so I made 2 grand for doing it. Definitely worth my time. So if anyone wants to help me to go negotiate with them, I'm more than willing. And I don't even need 2 grand, I just love doing it. So to illustrate this point more, who's ever had somebody that bought a new car and came to tell them about it? Did they get a good deal? Well, here's thinking no. Ask them, hey, did you get a good deal on a new car? Absolutely. They all have a story. They're all like, yeah, I bought this car, and, you know, it was the last 4 months model. I had to get it over from there. I worked them on it, and they had a sticker, this, I got that. They're always telling you what a good deal they got. Do car dealers really give everyone a good deal? I know it. I got hosed every time. Yeah. All right. This guy thought I just got a good deal, right? You win as long as I bought that house for 90. I bought that house for 20. they feel like they won. In the negotiation, let them feel like they won. Man, Matt, you did a good job. I wouldn't have paid a penny more than 20. You got me to my bottom line. You're a freaking good negotiator. You got me twisting my arm. Good job, though. You know, they feel like they won. You didn't know I would have paid 10 grand more. Let them feel like they won. Always let somebody feel like they won the negotiation. Big part of it. Friendship proposals. This is a good one too. Matt, how much do you want for the house?
180.
Did I say anything?
No.
What did he read? Then I watch it. Then if I don't say anything, what do you feel like he needs to next?
I could go a little lower than that.
What are you thinking?
179.
Get that there. You don't have to say anything, whether it's high or low. You just do it with body language like that. And anything. This is not just real estate. Any negotiation, they'll come off probably because they feel along like, oh, well, did I submit it? Friendship proposals. Try it. And you don't have to say anything. Just shut up. Just do that. Just see what they say next, right? Friendship proposals. 7 magic words. After you've lectured whatever, come to something. Is that the best that you can do? Then shut up. Let them talk. You haven't lost anything. If they're 20 grand, is that the best you can do? Well, you know, I guess we could. They're going to negotiate against themselves. And if they say, yep, that's the best we can do. Great, you didn't lose anything. Okay, that's the best you can do. 7 magic words. Never offer to split the difference. So let them offer it. Okay, Matt, you're 180 on this house, right? I'm at 170. What do you think?
176.5.
175, huh? You know, when somebody's at 180, one's somebody at 170, what's everybody thinking? I don't know if it's an American thing or what. You're always like, oh, let's split the difference. Well, you're 180, I'm 175, or 170. Let's split the difference. Let's call it 175. Everyone might be thinking it, but the first person to offer loses. So if he's at 180 and I'm at 170, and he says, well, let's split the difference at 175. Then I go, oh, okay, so you're at 175, huh? Just move down to 175, right? Our range is between 170 and 175. Because he offered it, not me. So don't offer to split the difference. Let them offer to split the difference. Nibbling. You guys ever heard of this technique? Nibbling in a negotiation? Nibbling is once you've already got someone under contract. Or like in a car negotiation, it would be something like, you just bought the car, or you just got the agreement, okay, we're paying $20,000 for this car, right? Great. Your salesman's all excited, he's signing it up, you're $20,000 on the hook, woo! Slap the five with the sales manager. And then he comes back, you say, you're throwing in the floor mats with that too, right? I mean, he's all excited, he just closed the sale, right? In his mind, he's like, honey, we're going to have to eat. We just closed the sale. You nibble on him a little bit there, and he's just like, well, you know, yeah, I guess I could throw in the floor mats, you know? Or a boat, whatever it is. You nibble on a little bit, get a little something, or a big nibble. A friend of mine, who, these techniques come from a book that I'll share with you in a second. I told my friend to read it, because he's big into education too. He read it, not 1 month later, $25,000 directly attributed to some of these techniques. And there's a lot more in this book. $25,000, I tell you about 15,000 of it. Agent calls him, well, he called an agent on something, got to another property. There's a guy that, right, who's going to list his property this one day. The agent said, well, I got this other property. So he said, well, what is it? So he puts it under contract before it's even hit the MLS. Yeah, I'll take it. You know, at whatever price, 180 we'll call it. I think it was somewhere in that range. So he takes his property, puts it under contract. He's never been on the MLS. And you guys know what the MLS is like now, right? Feeding frenzy. Never been on the MLS. Because the guy's motivated. 180, he's got under contract. Then he agrees to go meet that agent, the seller's agent who called it, and who's double ending it, and the seller, like the next day. So he goes there to meet with the guy, and he's just fresh off reading this book. He's just like, I have nothing to lose here. I'm under contract. He's signed. It's under contract, right? He's going to close in 5 days. He's happy at 180. He'll take it at 180. When he goes there, he's looking at it, just going around thinking, well, kicking the tires a little bit. He's like, oh, you know what? This needs a lot more work than I thought it needed. What do you think you could do? Kind of treats it like that. And, you know, he's right there with the seller. The seller's just like, oh, well, you know, came down $15,000. Guys, I could wholesale that house for like $200,000. I told him I could like $200,000. He's like, you wouldn't kick the tires. And most people think, oh, we well enough to know it's alone, right? He thought, I'm already under contract. The guy says, doesn't come down at all. He's still going to close. Thought it's worth a try. He just fresh out reading this and stuff was in his head. $15,000 from that. He had 2 other properties that were like $5,000 each, but $25,000 from reading it. He's like, hey, thanks, man. I should be getting a commission on that, right? Nibbling. So here, these are just a small portion of the ones that are in the book. The book's coming next, but never be first to offer a number. Don't give them a quick yes. And that's more for them than for you. Flinch at proposal. Give it a try. It's funny, right? Everyone can try that at least. 7 magic words. That works. Don't split the difference and nibble. Might as well. The Secrets of Power Negotiating by Roger Dawson. Read that book. Read it. It's not just for real estate. There's bigger numbers in real estate, but anything. And just give it a try. It's amazing. I just use a few of these techniques sometimes when I go see these sellers, and it's amazing. It's all I do naturally, but just add a flinch or something. Add a flinch, and just see what happens. Any one of those, you can add one of those things and you say, man, use $25,000 and you're doing this. Amazing, right?
Andy, do you have any seminars that you go to on negotiating?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, not specifically on negotiating, but you know what? Sales and negotiation, that's where it's at. That really is where it's at. I'm interested in real estate, you know, but it's kind of like you can do the same thing. Studying stuff like this, though, will up your real estate game or anything you're doing just through the roof.
What's the most you made on a private seller?
Like wholesale or like retail?
No, just the most you made on a deal.
Wholesale, $60,000. I didn't touch it. Single family home. And retail, $200,000. 200 grand.
And
Yes,
other great negotiating skills, watch Pawn Stars.
I love that.
It's great.
Those guys are awesome.
Thanks how many times I would have come back with a different answer. They didn't get nearly what they could have.
Absolutely.
But,
Rick's always joking with them. He's always just like, "Oh, really? You kidding me right now? I gotta make a profit." You know, he's always that way. They're great to watch. That's so true. There's money in negotiating, for sure. For sure. So read that book. Okay, here's some other ones. Pressing the easy button. I talked about this a little bit before, but let them know you take care of all the details. If you're negotiating there, it's just a good point for people. You don't have to give them more money or anything. Just let them know, look, I can close on Friday. It costs you more money. You know, give them those intangibles. Let them press the easy button. That's what most people want. I don't want to listen to an agent. I don't want to be walking through my house. And just whenever they say those things, yeah, just touching them. Yeah, you don't want people walking through your house. They'll fall out of contract. Inspectors, you know. Play up their fears a little bit there. Let them press the easy button. Let them sell to you. Let them feel good about it. Here's a story with that. There's 3 or 4 other people on this deal, but I was working with the seller and I let them press the easy button. Basically, I said, I'll close on Friday. These guys are saying the snap will do that. They'll put it on a contract and say, I'll close, you know, due diligence, I'll close in 3 weeks. I'm like, I'm not into that.
next to IA.
Yes.
I've shown that company.
It recently sold. My guy sold it for $190,000. Did you show it to somebody?
I showed it to the buyer.
Oh, did you?
That's 6 bedrooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
long bedroom. Yeah, it's on Robert Avenue, 330 East. Yeah, so I just let him press the easy button. I did this one in my Roth IRA as well. But I let him press the easy button. You just want to be done with it. You don't want to go back and forth all stuff. Let's just get done with all this back and forth. Here you are. Great. Everybody else was left wondering what happened. Like, hang on, what, you sold it to somebody? Yeah, it's done, sold. It's out. None of this tie it up and wait 3 weeks, email it out to people. It's done. You can negotiate anything. Really, don't take stuff for granted. My friend, who I gave that book to, Karma, right? He gave me back an example. He sells a lot of properties too. My former business partner used to do everything together. Now we're do the same thing separately. He talked to me about who here is selling houses retail. Who has sold a house retail this year? Did they ask for a home warranty? They always do, right? These agents are always putting in this home warranty. Home warranties, from what I understand about them, I don't know, somebody's maybe more versed in it than I am. You know, it covers appliances, it covers HVAC and things like that. When you just flip a home, you got new appliances, you got new furnace, new AC, and all those things. What's it really cover? It's just like they throw it in there just to have it. So why not just say, hey, I noticed they had a home warranty there. We got new appliances, we got new furnace and AC. Do we really need that? And just ask them for that. They might be like, yeah, okay, we'll take it off. It's not money in their pocket. The seller doesn't really care that much, probably. The agent probably just threw it on there. The guys from Landmark with Bob Lunch, we're like, yeah, we'll throw it in there. Sorry, is anybody here from Landmark? I'm sorry. But seriously though,
It's actually easy holes at golf, but yeah.
well, my buddy pointed out to me, he said, hey, I might as well try it. And he did, and they took it off. $420, you know, for 30-second conversation, right? Don't take it for granted just because they got on there. Here's another thing he taught me, just because he's fresh out reading that book, right? I gave him, and he gave it back to me, and we bounced it off each other. Who here has had a settlement deadline extended? Yes, everyone has it, sold the house retail, right? Agent calls them up, she's 100% vested, their earnest money's hard at this point. The buyers want it, but what happened? You know, the lender couldn't close, right? Right, the issue. Sorry. Thanks for inviting me to speak. We'll talk about that. So the lender couldn't close the deal, she calls them up, and it's standard procedure, right? Hey, we just need to get a little extension on this. So we just asked a simple question, said, oh, you know, if I could get you that extension, what do you think you could do for me? That's it. And he shut up. He's not asking for anything. He's not being outrageous. Not saying, "Oh, give me $1,000." So he says, "What do you think you can do for me?" And he was just like, because he's fresh out reading that, he's like, "I'll try it." You know what the agent said? God, I guess I could kick 100 in off my commission. He's like, "Yeah, I'll see if I can make that work. I think I can make that work. $100 just for asking a question, right? Crazy. Normally, he's just like, "Yeah, it's you might not want to do that all the time within reason, but what do you have to lose, you know?" He asked and he got it. He got $100. So here's the tips again. You guys can read on them. I have a little bonus material here. It has nothing to do with the marketing or the negotiation. Anybody else need this anymore? Questions? We'll go back to questions. Real estate roller coaster. So I've been doing real estate for 9 years now. You've been doing this for a while. It's my full-time gig. I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I do a lot of aspects of real estate. Buy and hold. I do some lending, wholesale, retail stuff too. It's interesting that I found, and anybody's been doing this for a while, ask me. I call it the real estate roller coaster. You got those weeks where you got 4 sellers and you're slapping 5, you're like 4 of them in a week, making all this money, right? Then sometimes you have 2 or 3 weeks where you're just like, you're doing the same thing, you've been consistent, your marketing's out there, you go to the same seller, but for whatever reason, they're just not following. I call it the roller coaster. You have those high weeks and you're just doing great and everything you can't do when you're on, and you'll have those low weeks too. So just a tip for everybody here, you know, if your journal, whatever, write it down. When you're having those highs, write it down. I love this business, it's great, I love talking to private sellers, making a lot of money. So you can refer to that in those times that are down, because they call this business doesn't work, I've tried everything. Refer to that because the business does work. If you do these things consistently, it absolutely works. Just remember, the bad times are always followed by the good times. If sellers are telling you no and you're doing the same things, they're going to inevitably say business. You know, you have some deals make 2,000, some make 10 or more. Right? Just remember, you're on the roller coaster, but don't give up. There it is. Hang in there. There's highs and lows, so don't give up with it. Any questions with any stuff? If I skipped over the questions, I wanted to get to that. The pep talk, the real estate pep talk. Did I bore anybody?
4 questions. Does anyone have a question they want to ask?